Hey everybody, it's Margot.
Guys, I'm such a fucking actress.
And Lydia.
Strong black woman over here.
But you already know why we're here.
Pop off, sis.
I went commando on public transportation, huh?
Oh my god.
I love a good lazy river because I'm lazy and I like water.
Pop off, sis.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of hungover right now.
The content you may not want but deserve.
Pop off.
I think I popped off about that.
You popped off.
Pop off, sis!
Hello everybody. Welcome back. Welcome me. Welcome you. Welcome Lydia. Hi, what's up? How are you doing?
Hi, Margot. How are you doing? I'm good.
I'm good too. You know,
Okay.
just another day in quarantine.
Indeed.
Jump into these roses because we
Do
need
it.
some positivity. So tell me about your rose this week, Lydia.
Yeah, so my rose is just that I'm really embracing the Christmas spirit that we're in right now. I mean, I've been lighting candles, I've been baking cookies, muffins, cinnamon rolls, you name it, I'm baking it. The house smells amazing. One thing I just discovered, I literally did it last night, is Christmas potpourri. Have you heard of this? Am I late?
I have never.
It's really just like potpourri with Christmassy smells, but you make it on the stove. So literally I saw it on Instagram and I was like, I'll do it, I'm bored. So I'll show a little picture here because I put it on my story. But it's basically just like you simmer some water on low and you add a pack of cranberries, some slices of oranges, a couple of cinnamon sticks, some fresh pine, you can cut off the tree and put that in there. What else? A little bit of a couple cloves of ginger. It really just gives you the smells. You can just imagine it's like a warm hug at Christmas time. So it smells really good and it keeps well. Like I can use it for a couple weeks, I think, at least a week. You just store all the ingredients in the fridge and then you re-pot it, put it back in the pot, put water in and simmer it again when you want to use it. So that's a new thing I've been doing. We got our Christmas tree yesterday or over this past weekend. And that's exciting. This is the first time, as 2020 does, everything changes. So this is the first year that we weren't able to actually cut down the tree ourselves. We always get a live tree, but we usually actually go to this farm and cut it down. But they were closed this year, so we got a tree that was pre-cut, but it's still real. But it's like a little tree. It's, a break from tradition. But yeah, we haven't decorated it yet. So that's next on the decorate the tree. But I'm just really trying to embrace the Christmas spirit as much as we can this year. So that's my rose. What about yours?
Well, before I get into mine, I feel you on embracing the Christmas spirit. I've been going all out baking. We decorated our tree. It is so cool that you cut down your own tree I've never met anybody else who did that. That's so. Are you out there with a saw?
I'm like, no, I can never do it. I do like one little thing for the tradition. I'll like pretend to cut it and then my dad does the rest, my dad and my brother. But yeah, they're like down there on their hands and knees under the tree like timber. Yeah.
So manly.
Manly things, we women, my sister, my mom and I just stand back like, you're doing amazing, sweeties. But it's fun. So you do that too or no?
No. We rarely have a treat because we're usually visiting my family in Paris. But we're definitely gonna buy a pre-cut one.
No shame in that. I think I don't know. It's a hard tradition to keep up, because you gotta find a day to go to the farm and it's cold and you gotta find the right tree. It's a lot, but it's fun. But yeah, I was gonna ask you. You usually go to Paris, right? Christmas time.
Yeah. So normally, I think for the past few years, I've been there every year, like the past 3 or 4. So it definitely feels weird to not be there. All of our Christmas traditions there are different. Like we open presents at midnight on the 24th, or on the 24th going into the 25th versus the more American tradition of opening it on the 25th at the morning when you wake up. And we have because in France, the 24th is kind of the big day. Christmas Eve is that we have a huge dinner And then we open the presents when it hits midnight. And then Christmas Day, you kind of don't really do anything. Like, usually you're just kind of nursing your hangover, eating leftovers, and playing with your new toys. And, you know, so I'm excited to embrace the American tradition, I guess, this year. I want to make Christmas Day more of an event in some way, maybe schedule something to do. I don't know what, because you can't really do anything right now. But yeah, I will be here. But it's okay because my brother is here and his girlfriend is here, and we have a zoo of animals, so you really can't be sad when there's a zoo of animals around. My rose is that, I mean, all of that is definitely a rose. I love Christmas, please and thank you. But my rose is truly that I finished my semester this week. And yes, I got a 4.0 taking 22 credits, please and thank you. Not only did I get a 4.0 taking 22 credits, but I got a 100% in 3 of my classes. I ended with a 100. So thank you very much. I will accept my Oscar now. Just kidding. But, you know, some sort of award. I'm patting myself on the back here because...
Oh, Tell the people. No, this central water bottle is my microphone. Tell the people, how does it feel? 4.0, 22 credits, superwoman. Tell her.
You know, it's just hard being this great. You know,
Yeah.
it's really a hard life to just be so smart and just a genius and so hardworking. I mean, I just like to thank not only myself, but me and maybe my dog too. Okay, thank you. No more questions. Thank you.
Okay. Woo! Number one, the Diva reference. I was like, she's gonna thank Jesus and God. I was like, do it. Way to make a spin on that. Also, I added a second mic because, yes, exactly. You were doing a press conference. And those were all the different news outlets because everyone wants to know.
Of course.
Wow. Congratulations. That is no small feat. That is during a pandemic and all the changes that are happening this year. You just continue to thrive, Margot. Well done. Another
Thank
semester
you.
down. We're so proud. That's right. We got a 4.0 on the podcast. All right. That's a rose in and of itself. That's good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
She's so smart. We love to see it. Well, all of that aside, good things happening, good vibes, Christmas vibes in the air. So let's move on because a lot has happened these past 2 weeks, has it not?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot to talk about.
A lot. So we'll just, do our poppin', not poppin' real quick. Well, I mean, there's no other way to start with poppin' than Monday Night Football. Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns. Mic drop. Okay, Margot, even though I know you're not the biggest football fan, I mean, I will be shocked. Have you heard anything about this game? Did you hear any sort of anything?
Is this the poop his pants game?
Lamar Jackson did not poop his pants.
Wasn't that your
Yes.
team?
He didn't poop his pants. What is all this whole
Definitely.
pooping the pants?
He might
team?
not have pooped them, but he was going to poop them, and that's why he had to run to the bathroom. I mean, there's no explanation.
He got a cramp. He got multiple cramps. How is that not a legitimate excuse?
You can't run if you are cramping. You can't run.
I will say, if we really are going to analyze this, when the great Lamar Jackson, L Freaky, L himself, LJ, New Era 8, okay, when they showed footage of him, I was going to say backstage, under the stadium, whatever that looks like, going to the locker room, and when he went to open a door, like someone on the staff was coming out and didn't see him, and they almost hit each other, and Lamar's reaction time to, like, getting out of his bed was very quick. This is like me, like, going down a rabbit hole, like, the way he moved, like, you wouldn't move like that if you had a cramp, like, the way he really, like, I don't know. So I understand skepticism. Twitter was going off, okay? But why wouldn't he just tell us if he had to go to the bathroom? There's no shame in that. I don't know how they hold it for 3.5 hours every week.
Well, I think it was more like that was the initial story he ran with, and then to backtrack, in post interviews, because the truth is he came out of the bathroom, didn't he throw like this amazing pass?
Oh yes, we'll get there.
Yeah, so I feel like, to say like, oh, I just took a big dump and then I was ready to go, it's not really the narrative he wants to sell. But I mean, I think that's all it could have been. Unless he was bleeding profusely, but if he was bleeding and needed to like get to the bathroom, there would have been a medic with him. And the way he like yelled at that staff person coming out of the bathroom, like, get out of my way. Maybe he'd already let something out a little bit, he needs to go save himself.
I mean, okay, fine. You make a good argument there. I can't say that you're wrong because I don't know. But I guess too they can't necessarily just stop the game because you have to go to the bathroom. So maybe that was like embarrassing for him to admit. I don't know. It was the wrong time to have to go to the bathroom, if that's what it was. But that means it was a big game because you heard about that at least. So you heard something about the game. Basically, the Ravens were winning up by like 2 scores for a whole quarter, and then in true Ravens fashion, they make you get like a third, fourth, fifth drink. I have never been so stressed in my life. Like every time I say that about a Ravens game, but this was like took it to a whole nother level. Like the emotional roller coaster I went on that night was too much. So basically, we're in the fourth quarter. Lamar decides to have a cramp or what the general public would call pooping. And he leaves the game when I think it was almost tied or about to be tied. Anyway, we clearly didn't have the game secured yet. And then our third string quarterback goes in, Trace McSorley, cutie, if you're ever single. But I think he's really cute and doesn't get enough clout, okay, credit. But basically, he comes in because our second string quarterback, RG3, who I believe was on the Washington football team for years, your neck of the woods.
Yep.
He's disappointing us in Baltimore, Margot. You might want to talk to Spencer. But he's been hurt, so the third string had to go in, and this was not playing well. We were like, we're going to lose this game. And then on 4th down and 5, 4th and 5, Margot, it's like the last chance of anything. On the sideline, you see our boy Lamar Jackson running out from whatever he was doing and saves the day, throws this crazy pass to our boy Marquise Brown, also known as Hollywood Brown. Hollywood scores. So Marquise scores, and then the Browns score, and then we needed to tie it up. So we didn't have enough time to score again. We tried. It didn't work. We tried to get down the field, but we didn't score it. But then our boy Justin Tucker, most accurate kicker in the league in NFL history on our team, comes out, kicks I want to say it was a 55-yard field goal, which is over half the field length, okay? Hey. Mind you, the other team, the Browns kicker, I don't even know his last name, he was missing like 2 or 3 kicks throughout this game that were like 30 yards, like a typical kick that he should be able to do. He missed. Fine by us. Anyway, Justin Tucker saved the day once again, and we were ahead 45-42. And then in the last 2 seconds of the game, we actually scored something that's called a safety, which I don't know too much about, but basically we got like an extra 2 points. The ending up total score was 47-42 Ravens. So that was a very long what's poppin', but we won a game that will go down in history as like one of the most craziest, amazing games ever. And it was a big win for us because we are still the wild card for the playoffs. We're not like a shoo-in to go to the playoffs, and we needed to win that game. So go Ravens. That was a lot.
So are you officially going to the playoffs now?
Not yet. It still depends. We need some stuff to shake out on other teams, and we need to keep winning the rest of our games. So I don't know when's the answer. Hopefully.
I
mean, stay tuned for that.
Thank you for retelling that to me. I felt like I was there on the sidelines witnessing it, seeing a man who had just taken a massive dump come running into the field, and then with a load taken off, was able to throw this amazing pass. It's just really, wow, it's great. I mean, that's really exciting though. It sounds like a cool game, and I don't follow football, so the fact that I had heard anything is pretty impressive.
No, I'm very impressed with that. I'm so impressed. Good job. It's funny that that's what you heard about it, but naturally. The only other what's poppin' we have for you is that Ariana Grande is dropping a Netflix documentary called Excuse Me, I Love You. It comes out on Netflix actually today. When we drop this podcast, it will be out. So yes, it's all about her Sweetener World Tour that she did. I think it was 2019. Yeah. And it's like a behind the scenes look at her tour life. And she, obviously it's a bunch of performances of the last 2 albums she released. So that, I'm a fan, so I'll be watching it. I don't know if you're a fan of hers, Margot.
Yeah, no, I like her. Not the biggest fan, but
yeah.
I think she's very talented. So yeah.
True. Yeah. So just if you're interested, check it out. A lot of these celebrities, artists have been releasing documentaries. Like earlier this summer, we had Blackpink. Shawn Mendes just came out with one not too long ago, and now Ariana. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's go to what's not poppin'. Take it away, my friend.
All right. Well, this is new, maybe a week old news, but Dove Cameron, who I think she's a Disney Channel star. I forget what her Disney Channel show was called, but now she's just kind of been in, I don't even know what she's
Livin' Maddie.
Livin' Maddie was her thing, and now she's been in other things, but she's kind of just like famous. Dove Cameron and her longtime boyfriend, Thomas Doherty, broke up. They released a statement last week, but they had officially broken up in October. And it was just very surprising news because they were together a long time. They were all over each other's Instagrams. And also no one had caught wind of it. There hadn't even been whispering from any, rumor blogs, celebrity blogs, whatever. So kind of sad because they were into each other, like very much in love. So it's kind of like, oh, what went wrong? Sad. But say la vie, it happens. We are wishing them good thoughts that they may mend their little hearts, keeping socially distant. I hope they don't get over one another by getting under someone else unless that person has the COVID vaccine or has been quarantining. The other thing that is causing me some sorrow this week is that Jessie Nelson from Little Mix officially announced that she is leaving the band after 9 years. Now, while she's doing this for her mental health, and we send her good thoughts and hope that she gets well, it's also heartbreaking as a fan of the girl group. She has a beautiful voice. She was a huge part in their foursome, and I will definitely miss her.
That is sad. I will too. I mean, I remember she definitely struggled a little bit while within the group, and I think she spoke out at times about her mental health issues. I think she had body issues at some point. And so I'm sure, so much pressure being in a girl group, but she was an integral part. But I don't know how much you've looked into this, Margot. I need to do some more reading, but I think this was definitely like an amicable split, and they're still supporting her, and I think that's real. They always put out the statement of we support X person in their future endeavors, but I think they really are all still like supportive of each other and understand that she needs to part ways, which we don't always see. Fifth Harmony breakup.
I know. Literally Adam. Yeah, no, it seems like it's amicable, and Jessie released a documentary last year on a British TV show that was about her struggle with mental health throughout being in Little Mix, and it kind of had been the entire time, and she had been suicidal, and she had so much online bullying, and it had been this huge struggle that people hadn't really known about at all. And so then in the documentary, she was talking about, I'm the happiest I've ever been now, blah, blah. But this was all pre-quarantine. Who knows how that's affected her. And, 9 years to be in a girl group is a long time. Like, they made it a long time. I think, how long did One Direction make it? Who came from the same show? Like 4 years, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
And so I think, the girls, so the 3 rest of them are going to stay together and keep the band going. But I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I don't think 9 years is a long time. Like I said, she needs to focus on her, and maybe she'll start a solo career. But it seems like that might be better, because one of the things that was kind of taking away from her happiness was this constant comparison, that people would compare her to the other girls in the group and be like, you're fatter, you're uglier, blah, blah, blah. And she even said in this documentary, if I was a solo artist, there would be no one to compare me to. So maybe that's her journey. Maybe she's stepping away from the music industry altogether. Maybe she's stepping out of the limelight altogether. Maybe she'll delete her social media. Who knows? We wish her well. Thoughts? And what is this about David Dobrik?
Yes. No, we definitely wish Jesse well. And, you know, the remaining group members, Leanne, Jade, Harry, wish them the best. Sounds like everything worked out the best it needed to in that situation. Okay, I was going to ask you, have you heard of this puzzle that David Dobrik is coming out with?
No.
Okay, it's in the not pop. Let me just preface, it's in the not poppin' category because I ordered it and I feel like shameful that I did, that I gave my money to this man. Okay, so basically it's called the $100,000 puzzle by David Dobrik. And how it works is, I don't even think it's an 1,000-piece puzzle. It might be like 500 or 600 pieces. It's less than 1,000. And I'm saying that because I'm used to doing 1,000-piece puzzles. But so this is just going to be, you know, a little thing on the side. Anyway, the puzzle is, how it works is, once you put it together, it creates a giant QR code that you scan, and based on, I guess, just how chance and whichever puzzle you got, you win between I think it's like 75 cents or something, between a very small amount of money to $100,000, to up to $100,000. So it's a complete like crapshoot. Like either you happen to create the puzzle that is going to make you $100,000 richer, or $20 richer, or $100 richer, but you kind of can't lose. Either you profited from buying the puzzle, which was like $30, or you didn't, but you can win up to $100,000 by putting this puzzle together.
This man is so genius.
It's just genius. And I was listening to a podcast that someone was talking about it, and they said that it's just a genius business move for him, because he's going to profit regardless from the sales of it, because so many people have already gotten it, just because on our end as the consumer, we're making money regardless, even if it's $20. But he's making so much off of it. So yeah, it's a big deal.
That's really smart. Honestly, you're kind of enticing me, because at the end of the day, even if you only make 75 cents, you got a puzzle. It's not like a lottery ticket. I mean, it is like a lottery ticket, but it's not in the sense a lottery ticket, you're not doing anything. It's just this piece of paper. But at least here, there's the incentive, like, oh, you can have fun building the puzzle, and you might win money. So that's pretty like genius marketing. David Dobrik killing it as always. That little man in the camera.
Yes, I think he's really trying to get into this like charitable philanthropic space. I think he gave away recently like 9 Teslas on YouTube for no reason. Like, and it's smart, you know, like COVID, what have people been doing inside a lot? Puzzles. And he's building on that. And he's literally giving away money to people. You're gonna make money regardless if you do it. So if you want to do it, Margot, go on his website. You can order it now. Like I said, it was literally $30. And it doesn't come out until the week of January 25th. That's when everything ships. So it's definitely a next year vibe. So start your year off with possibly $100,000.
Oh, yo, they could totally make a YouTube video where they asked everyone to like take a video when they're scanning it to see who the official winner is.
That's such a great point. And I was thinking too, like there's so many factors, you know, they have to sell out, because what if they don't sell out and one of the puzzles didn't get ordered and that was $100,000 one? Yeah. Or, but like, shoot, I'll take the $90,000 puzzle. I'll take that one. It's fine. But it's exciting. The only other criticism that I saw about it was like, what if rich, famous people also buy it and they win a lot of money? It's like, that could have gone to someone else. But, you know, there's always going to be issues. That's interesting. Yeah, so if you want to get it, go right ahead and get it. I will join you. I've already placed my order, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned if your hosts here become richer.
Oh, that would
so
be
let's
great.
get into, I know, wouldn't it? Okay, now for our first topic of this episode. The Bachelorette. Dun, dun, dun.
Listen, everyone, it's that time of year again when the Bachelorette is getting down to the final 3 contestants who are all headed to the fantasy suite and all have a chance at winning Tayshia's heart and banging her in that room. Okay, let's break it down. The final 3 men who are there for Tayshia and whether we think they could win, they could not win, if we're rooting for them or not. Just so you know, before we say their names, this is a spoiler alert. So if you are not caught up, skip this section or pause it and come back after you watch the episode. But we're getting into it now. So let's start off with Ivan. Lydia, thoughts? He is going to that suite with Tayshia. What do you think?
Okay, I am here for Ivan. He is my number 1 right now. I just think he's so sweet. He's emotional. He's vulnerable. You know, they had that long conversation about Black Lives Matter and them both being biracial and what went along with growing up in that space. And like, they had that little cute date in her room. Remember, they were jumping on the pillows. It was just so wholesome. And, you know, we met everyone's family this past episode, or part of their families. You know, they had to do it like COVID safe or whatever. And the families came to them instead of them going to their hometown. And Ivan's story was just so relatable. I loved his mom. And I thought one thing was nice that we saw from his mom. She's very skeptical about the timeline of this. And she, you know, she's not sold on how this whole process works, but she trusts her son. I love that. And, you know, when Ivan's brother showed up, that surprise. I mean, he obviously is open about his brother's struggles with being in jail and, you know, some personal things that's going on with him. I thought that was very relatable, and he clearly was able to show that and share that with Tayshia. And I'm here for Ivan. What do you think?
I love him. He is so cute. His family is so wonderful and nice and really natural on TV, TBH. And yeah, I mean, I'm all here for Ivan. I just don't think he's going to get picked, and I think he's going to be the next Bachelor. Like, I think that is the plan of action, if you ask me.
I think that's yeah. I truly don't think he's gonna get picked either, which is sad. But there's also rumors that Ben might be the next Bachelor too.
Okay. Oh. I don't know. I mean, I like Ben, but I really respect him and the stuff he's talked about on TV and stuff, but I just don't think he would make a good Bachelor. I just don't.
I can see it.
That's just my personal opinion, but I do love me some Ivan, and it would be amazing if you had Matt James, the next Black Bachelor, and then you had Ivan, another Black Bachelor. I mean, that would be amazing and needed for this franchise. But moving it along to Brendan. Brendan, what do you think?
Okay, I didn't have too much on Brendan. Also very sweet. To be honest, when I first saw him, I thought he looked like he was crying when he smiled, because he kind of had like a little like, I don't know. He's cute. It's just sometimes I'm like, are you okay? Like, I should come out. But he, to me, made a good impression from the beginning. Like, I think he had one of the first one-on-one dates with Tayshia. And I remember they like were in the pool, they rode horses. I thought he was pretty smooth and like very sweet. His whole relationship with his niece, he treats her like a daughter. I thought that's really sweet. I still like Ivan more, but I'm here for Brendan.
I like Brendan. I think that first one-on-one really sold me, and him and Tayshia have the bonding about being divorced and getting married young. What I think about Brendan is I just don't think that he's ready to be engaged through this timeline, which I always say on this show is so normal. Who's going to be engaged in like 6 weeks? But alas, I just don't think he's ready. So I don't think he's going to be the pick either.
Well, wow, because that only leaves Zach, who I am not here for.
You're not here for Zach?
I honestly prefer Ben over Zach. I'm just gonna say it. I'm mad that she sent Ben home and kept Zach. Okay, I'm not just saying this because I don't think he's that cute, but I mean he's nice. I'm sorry, I don't know. I know my taste is weird, but I'm just over him. Like I wanted Ben to get the rose over Zach. I don't know. Why am I wrong? Prove me wrong.
Okay, here is my thing. I think Zach and Tayshia have the most natural, organic chemistry out of her chemistry with any of the men. It's always just simple. They can just laugh together. They're just there together and they enjoy spending time. I also think he's the only one who's truly ready to get engaged at the end of this because he is older and he has just discovered that he wants a family. I think he's in mid to late 30s and the two other guys I think are in their late 20s. And so Zach is kind of like, I'm ready to be settled down now, and I just don't think the other guys are fully there yet, at least with Tayshia. I don't know. I just feel like they have this natural relationship, and I just have a feeling that he is going to win.
Wow.
Like it or not.
I mean, you're the expert here, so you're probably right. I mean, it's important to be ready. I think that is one of the most important things, is to be sure and to be ready. So you make a good point there.
Also, their photo shoot date. You didn't love their photo shoot date? That was so cute.
It was so cute. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying they don't do cute things. I don't know. Can you refresh my memory really quick? Were any of these three here at the beginning when Claire was still the Bachelorette?
I'm pretty sure they were all there.
Oh, okay. See, that's how much I remember. Because, to me, that just, I'm still not over the fact that happened, only because it's like a whole nother layer on this whole timeline thing. Like, first of all, it's unnatural. Like you said, 6 weeks or whatever. It's way too short no matter what way you cut it. But then to have a switch from girl to girl like come on. Like, you can't just be like, okay, I really like Claire, but okay, now I like, I mean, men are men. They like what they see, but I don't know. I'm still skeptical about that. Like, I wish it was a whole new group of men from the start when Tayshia came.
Yeah, that it was pretty weird that they were like, let's just keep all the same guys who were here for Claire and switch them over to Tayshia. And I'm like, okay. And some of them obviously had a more natural connection with Tayshia than with Claire. But what I will note is interesting always about fantasy suites is through listening to my many Bachelorette podcasts, the Bachelorettes always say that they know who they're going to pick by the time of fantasy suites. So,
Ooh.
like, and most people say they know from the start. Like Rachel, who was the first Black Bachelorette from a couple seasons ago, she literally knew night one. That's why the first impression rose is so important, because that's usually, for the females, a lot of times that's been who they pick. So it's always interesting to me going to fantasy suites with three guys, but knowing kind of who you're going to choose already.
Right, because you're kind of just like going through the motions with the other two.
Yeah, and you're like, maybe you want to give it the good old bang test. I mean, there's no shade there.
No shade, no shame in that. I mean, you gotta know. If anything, this is great because you can test it out. What is it? You can test drive it before you buy.
Exactly. I think that's important. So more power to Tayshia.
Good luck, Tayshia. You got some big decisions to make this week. We will be watching.
Oh, for sure.
Woo!
All right, now we have to mention it, of course. Taylor Swift, just again, out of nowhere, true quarantine style, dropped a whole nother album, Evermore, which is like Folklore Part 2, I guess. It's a continuation. She just said she couldn't stop writing songs, and so they produced another baby. They birthed it. Evermore, a little more folky, a little less poppy than Folklore. Lydia? Thoughts? Have you listened? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What'd you think?
I just love how you summed that up. I think you left it all on the table there. I mean, she just back to back with them. T Swift is out here banging out the song. She said, COVID, quarantine, who? I'm about to be productive AF. She's like this whole, master drama with all her old albums. She's just retaliating in the best way, which is using her talents to make more amazing music. I'm waiting for the Disney Plus Part 2 folklore, sessions with Evermore now, her in the woods just singing live. But yeah, I have not listened to the album in its entirety, but what I have heard so far, I think you're right, more folky, very, very her, and I'm liking it so far though, what I have heard, and congrats to her.
Congrats, Tay-Tay. Killing it.
Killing it. Keep killing it. Well, start 2021, a third album, part 3. Wouldn't be shocked. But okay, we gotta get into this because we have a whole thespian on this podcast. We have a whole film junkie in both of us, okay? So you might have heard Tom Cruise. Pause for dramatic effect. Tom Cruise was caught on, I guess, audio recording of him freaking out on Mission Impossible 7 movie crew members. They're filming the new film right now, and, he caught a couple crew members breaking COVID protocol by, I guess, getting too close together. I think they were watching his monitor or something. They were not doing what was right. And he let them know. And now we all know what he let them know. So he went off and basically I'm just going to read part of what he said and I'll let Margot read the rest. So we can hear Tom on this recording saying, "We are the gold standard. They're back there in Hollywood making movies right now because of us, because they believe in us and what we're doing. I'm on the phone with every fucking studio at night, insurance companies, producers, and they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We're creating thousands of jobs, you motherfuckers. I don't ever want to see it again, ever. If I see you do it again, you're fucking gone." What else did he say?
He said, "You can tell it to the people who are losing their fucking homes because our industry is shut down. It's not going to put food on their table or pay for their college education. That's what I sleep with every night, the future of this fucking industry. So I'm sorry, I am beyond your apologies. I have told you and now I want it. And if you don't do it, you're out. We are not shutting this fucking movie down. Is that understood?"
I mean, mic drop. He piping hot. We wanted to mention that 5 crew members quit one day after this audio leak came out. They walked off the set following another rant that he did that I don't know if we have that audio out yet. Hopefully it's coming. But Margot, was he right? Was he wrong? Was he justified? This was a very, very, shall we say, colorful, energetic rant on his part. And the celebrity reactions, by the way, have been mixed. Some people say he was justified. Some people say he was doing too much. But also, some actors have said that this is a publicity stunt. Where are you at with this?
I had not heard about the publicity stunt.
Like to make him look good during COVID and wanting to protect people, all that.
Interesting. Well, what I'd like to say is, first of all, Tom Cruise is known to be fucking bonkers a little bit. He is, he's high up in the Church of Scientology, and he does have a certain reputation of just being, he's a very powerful man, and sometimes he doesn't know the boundaries of that, just in terms of the way he treats other people. He's also just, he does all of his own stunts for all of his movies. For Mission Impossible, he has literally hung on to the sides of planes while they've been taking off. And he's learned how to hold his breath underwater for 7 minutes. I mean, this is a very talented guy, but he's also a thrill seeker and a little unhinged, dare I say. And so I think that's important information to know, because everything he said in his rant, I agree with. I mean, if you're on that set right now, you have a job in the entertainment industry. So few people can say that. So few people will kill to take your place. They will literally kill. And at the end of the day, the only person on that set who it matters if they get COVID is Tom Cruise, because he is the only person on that set who is not replaceable. And I hate to say it, but if you're looking at a monitor in Video Village, then that means you're probably a camera assistant or some kind of job like that. They can easily fire you, fly you home, and fly someone else in less than 24 hours. So you are very lucky to have a job on the Mission Impossible set right now. So what he said was not wrong. COVID guidelines are so important. Also, don't be so dumb that you see the fucking producer and star of the movie standing right there and you're not following COVID guidelines. Like, why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. Now, I will say, that being said, I think he was correct in what he was saying. I think the manner in which he said it felt very much like a teacher scolding, their students. And because he is the producer and the lead of the movie, he kind of determines what the ambiance is like on set. And that just sounds like it created maybe kind of an uncomfortable feeling on set, or kind of like you're walking on eggshells. You don't know when you're going to set him off or not, and that's not really a good set to work on. And either I hadn't heard that there was a second rant, and so the crew members who quit, maybe they felt like what he said was unfair, or the manner in which he said it was unfair. We also don't know. We only have the audio, we don't have the video. So maybe the reason they were standing close together was because they couldn't, that was the amount of space they were allotted and there wasn't more space. We don't know the full story, but what I would say is, just looking at this and hearing what he said, he's not wrong. Follow those guidelines. You're making a movie. You are so lucky. Your thoughts, Lyd? Sorry, went on a rant.
Amen. No, I wanted to hear everything you had to say, because and thank you for the context too about his reputation, because that's very good to know. I agree with everything you said. I think the content itself, the words he said, were completely justified. I agree with that, and you need to be strict. I feel like this is such a serious issue, if there's a time for him to get serious, it's for this. As we probably both are sensitive people, I can't imagine being in that room, in that area, watching and hearing him rant like that. I would be very scared, because I just feel like people in a place of power and a place of privilege need to be careful about their delivery. And it's Tom Cruise, so if I were one of those employees that had been caught doing that, I would be petrified to hear Tom Cruise yell at me like that. And like I said, I do think what he said was justified. I just think he might have gone a little too hard with his delivery and could have been better about it. But I mean, he made some great points. He brought up, people trying to pay their college tuition. He has a lot of pressure on himself to keep everyone employed. And like you said, he is the only person in that enterprise that can't be replaced. They need him. He is the star. So yeah, I agree with everything he said, like you said. And I wish he could have been a little softer about it, or at least, I don't know, just not so scary with the way he said it. But I think he needed to prove a point, and he clearly did. I'm almost happy that there was the audio leak, because we can all, hear how people need to be checked. And I'm not sure what the second rant was, but that was according to, let me give you my source. Yes, according to ET Canada, there was a second rant. We don't know what the rant was, if it was just as intense, if it was just as long, but it got 5 people to leave. And like you said, it's a job in the entertainment business during a pandemic. So it must have been pretty intense for them to be like, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully they learned, and the rest of the filming will go smoothly.
Yeah.
I think it's a great point that you said. I just have to say about, Tom Cruise is in charge of the general vibe, the general energy and environment on that set. So a lot of pressure. They probably definitely are feeling like they're on eggshells right now. I'm not gonna lie. I would.
Oh, me too.
I'm gonna stay 40 feet away just to be safe.
Yeah. Literally. We're gonna be like,
Director's like in another town yelling cut.
okay, Lydia, tell me, I actually hadn't heard about this, so tell me about Jim Carrey is not gonna play Joe Biden on SNL anymore?
Yeah, I just thought I could get your reaction to that. It was totally Jim Carrey's decision, but he signed a contract for 6 weeks to play Joe Biden himself on SNL, and his time is up, and they are now going to have someone new. I know Woody Harrelson played Joe Biden in the past, and I thought he did a good job. I remember when it was announced that Jim Carrey was going to play Joe Biden, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I was kind of skeptical, but then, he delivered it. I don't know. I loved him as Joe Biden, but yeah, he's done. Soft.
I mean, I just think, in the past decade, Jim Carrey has really stepped out of the entertainment industry, and he has become much more of an activist, and he's kind of over it. Like, in many of his interviews, he's kind of like, this doesn't... I remember one of his interviews, he's like, we're all just these minuscule parts of this huge, expansive universe that are like one day gonna die, so none of this shit really matters, which is like true, but damn.
Yeah.
So I'm not really too surprised, but I'm really glad that he did it for as long as he did, and he's just gonna go back to being himself, tucked away in whatever corner. And I mean, that's great for him. He's gotten to a point in his career where he can come out, play Joe Biden, like come out and pick the projects he wants to work on, and then decide, okay, I've had enough, and go back to wherever his home is. So good for him.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's great. And he, like you said, he he lives in LA, but the show is in New York, obviously, so that would be a pretty big commitment weekly to commute, and it was just he's done, and that's fine. He gave us what we needed. He did great.
Yes, thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Oh, forever my heart is the Grinch. That's my favorite of him. It looks like childhood. Anyway, let's move on.
Savage seconds.
All right, we're popping off in 3, 2, 1. Okay, 2 words. Connected garage. I need a garage in this damn house because we just had our first snow of the season, and I was out there scraping like a loser on my car. Everything was frozen shut. I'm over it, years and years of having to scrape off the cars. That you gotta take an extra hour just to get out the house because you gotta scrape the front, the back, you gotta defrost everything. Then you gotta hope your windshield wipers aren't frozen because you need those when shit falls off the top of your car and snows behind you and snow from cars hit you in front of you.
Okay,
it's too much.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut you off, Lydia. I feel you about the cars, but you know what I want to talk about is sugar. Okay, and you're like, okay, whatever, Margot, it's sugar. No, because it is Christmas coming up, and I have been baking up the wazoo. I've been eating sugar every day, and you know what? It tastes so delicious going now. It tastes so good, and it gives me so much joy. But you know what? 15 minutes after I eat it, I feel like crap, and I have to get in my bed because I am so tired, so drained, and I need to stop eating it, but I can't because who needs chocolate at the holidays? Everyone.
Fact. Way to go on the time, number 1, and you are so right. I know. It's sugar. It's a hell of a drug.
It's a hell of a drug, and I am certainly an addict.
Well, I'm wishing you the best on trying to control that addiction because we can keep each other accountable. 10 pieces a day. Let's start there.
Okay.
5 Cinnabons a day. Okay. On more of a somber note, we just wanted to mention, first of all, this is our last show of the year. This is our 2020 wrap up right here. And what a year it has been, Margot. Yeah. So we hope you've enjoyed the journey so far with us on this year. I was just thinking we've been through a lot. We've had a lot of ups and downs this year, of course, but we definitely had some ups. We've had a graduation, we've had our birthdays, we've had just transitioning from our studio to being on Zoom with our podcast episodes. So it's been a lot, but this is our wrap up of the year. And for our moving forward this week, we just wanted to, kind of be a cautionary tale while also being hopeful. You know, we all want to look forward to 2021, but we, you know, can't let this COVID fatigue set in. We you know, everything takes time, and when midnight hits on January 1st, you know, COVID's not going to be gone, and the issues that are going on in our world right now are going to be here still. But, you know, we just want to look ahead, but also just remember and give the message of encouragement to stay vigilant and stay hopeful and stay safe.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the beginning of this year, our first podcast back, and I was talking about my travels in Europe a year ago, going to Prague and Vienna and Paris. And then I remember our first episode in quarantine. We were trying to figure out the anchor and the Zoom, and we had no idea that we'd still be doing it at this point. But like Lydia said, it hasn't all been bad. There's been a lot of good. And just to add on to the bad real quick, though, they did find a new COVID strain in the UK that apparently is transmitted much more quickly and passes around much more quickly.
How is that possible?
Than the current strain that people are being vaccinated for. So, you know, like, COVID is not done. Just because it's midnight on New Year's Day does not mean that coronavirus has gone away. But I think it's really important to find the happiness and the joy within all of the shit. And I think Lydia and I have found happiness here and happiness chatting to each other and chatting with all of you. So,
yeah, exactly. Well said. So we'll leave you with our quotes of the day, really quotes to end the year. So let's get into it. Mine, I'll read it slow. Hopefully you can follow it. But I thought it was a nice wrap up to going into the new year. So it is from Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II. The light from the nearest star takes more than 4 years to reach us. So when you go out in the bosom of the night, God shows you it's a star to prove to you darkness doesn't have the final say.
Wow, that's such a beautiful quote.
Isn't it? I was like, wow, that's deep.
That's deep. Yeah, in that vein, my quote by Anonymous. What feels like the end is often the beginning.
So true. And that honestly is the best quote to end this year, Margot. Yes. A new beginning.
A new beginning.
We want all of you to have a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful, safe New Year's. And we will see you in 2021. Happy New Year, Margot. Happy holidays. All the best.
Bye.
And that's the show. Stalk us on Instagram at popoffsis.podcast and check out our Pop Off Sis YouTube channel.
We'll see you next time. Pop off, sis.